Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon is a mature first-person perspective open-world RPG set in the dark fantasy world of Arthurian legend. Hello and welcome to the Critically Curious. I'm the Monk, and today, yes, we are doing a first impressions video of Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. Now, Tainted Grail may sound familiar to you. We've actually done many videos on Tainted Grail Conquest here at the Critically Curious. This game is taken from that same world. It's from the same tabletop world as well. So many of the things within this world that you're going to be coming into contact with may sound familiar if you either played a tabletop or, of course, have played that previous game as well. Now, this game is very much different. It's a lot more ambitious. There's an awful lot to it. And while this is only a first impressions video, we'll try and get, into it as much as possible throughout this video. That way you just get a general idea of what this game is about and if it is one you should be picking up. Now, personally, I love the Tainted Grail universe, and diving back into it, it being through a fresh pair of eyes, is certainly intriguing. I love the fact that I'm able to create my character right at the beginning of the game. You're able to choose whether you want to be, someone that is good at magic or sword and shield, all that classic kind of, do you want to be a wizard? Do you want to be a warrior? Do you want to go down the archery route? You're able to use all of those different weapons within this game. It is first person perspective, as in the game has been designed to be first person, but there is a third person option. So if playing this game in first person just isn't for you, you do have the ability to switch that over, but you are warned that the game is not designed for that, and therefore you may suffer with frame rates and such because of that reason. Now, the game is very rough and ready. It's certainly not as polished as a lot of the other games around. It will cost you around £35 depending on which platform you're buying it on as well. Now, I am really pleased that there was a character customization or character creation part. The options may not be, particularly varied, but there's certainly enough there to kind of give you a little bit of player agency over, or ownership over, what your character looks like and how certainly you want to play the game right at the beginning, which again is something that I quite liked. Another little cute thing is that there are lots of mini games within this and a few small puzzles to solve as well. I like all those things that kind of, just add to the experience. I do think with Oblivion Remastered, released, only a couple of weeks ago, it's the perfect time for another one of these games to kind of pop out, because the hunger for these open world fantasy RPGs is certainly out there, and this game offers you just another touch of that same flavor. Now, this game certainly isn't a AAA rated RPG by any stretch of the imagination, but it does offer a little bit of charm. Now, I do kind of like, the clunkiness of this game. It reminds me of those older RPGs that we always used to play and love, just more of the same, really. Now, I should also mention this is fully voice acted, and the voice acting is actually pretty decent.
King Arthur led the great escape from the homelands, where our kingdoms were ravaged by the plague. Leading people to Avalon, he started the age of conquest and took the island from the Four-Dwellers. Using the mysterious powers of Menhirs, together with Merlin, they cleansed the land of the weirdness, a primordial force of chaos and possibility. But now, long after the death of the king, Camelot is in shambles as Avalon fractures into chaos.
I am a sucker when it comes to King Arthur. I love everything about it. So to be able to dive into another King Arthur game, I think is pretty awesome. Now, like I said, the voice acting is pretty good. In fact, I believe it is one of the best things about this game. Now, you are able to craft a load of different things where it comes to recipes and food and potions as well. You're also able to mine your way around this game, collecting certain types of rare ore. There's also lock picking as well. I did mention these small mini games. Lock picking's pretty simple, but it's a nice little touch. Nothing we haven't seen before, but it works very, very well. It's very serviceable. There are plenty of boxes and loot for you to pick up and to customize. Now, the looting system is very, very similar, very, very familiar in a sense that you'll have different rarities of loot that, better rarity loot gives you better buffs. You're also able, again, to level up. And when you level up, you're able to change your attributes and, of course, unlock or upgrade certain skills as well, eventually being able to become rather, rather powerful. Now, of course, it does lead to you being able to choose down which line and how you want to play your very own game as well, which is another thing that I also quite like. Now, there are also campfires that you can kind of literally just put down anywhere you want and be able to do this to level up, sometimes even to talk to the king, or of course to fast travel. This is an open world RPG. It does actually seem like the world's pretty big at first glance. I'll give you an update on that in the full review a little bit later. But there's also horse travel as well, which is clunky. Let's just say that. Hopefully I'll give you a better update and a little bit more of a positive note on it. But yeah, the world environment certainly seems clunky. There's some parts, I have to warn you, that I have traveled on that I should have been able to walk on, or at least it looked as though that be the case, but it seems to be slippier than an ice rink, and I've just slid all the way down a mountain, for instance. So my advice to you, if you are picking up this game, want to play it, want to dive into it, is save your game often, please, because the last thing you want to do is restart from, the last place the game's decided is going to be a good checkpoint, or of course your last save, which may be rather far away. When it came to actually combat within this game, I thought it was perfectly serviceable. It was pretty good. It was what it was. It is clunky. It is basic. You have a variety of different setups that you can do at any time you want, and you can pretty much pull out anything from your, invisible backpack at any time. I actually think the best thing about the combat within this game is actually the enemies and the varied amount of enemies that you'll be facing as well. I have fought pretty much anything you can imagine, from corpse eaters to bears, and every battle has been pretty much a hack and slash, them having more health or less health depending. But it's been really interesting, the character designs of the enemies that I've been facing. Now, this certainly may not be one of the most polished games I have ever played, but it is one of the most interesting. The world that this game is based on is deep. There's a lot of lore here. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of attention that you could give it, and I love games that just have that extra bit of information if you choose to dig for it. Is this one that I would recommend? At the moment, I'm gonna have to wait for the full review. I'm gonna play a few more hours into it before I give you that answer, because, like I said, there is issues. There are frame rate issues. There is a lot of clunkiness, but at the same time, I love Tainted Grail universe. I love the story behind it. I think that the story within the game that I've seen so far is really, really intriguing. And I certainly wouldn't be put off because, it may be one of those games that just don't look as good as, certain other games, because the world building that is behind this game certainly makes up for that. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave this video here. I've been a monk who's been inquisitive curious, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy, and again, happy gaming.
The bleeding heart of the plague has started beating once more, and the Red Death has returned.